Hello, welcome to Tim's Maniac Sports. This is Maniac Tim coming to you late night, close to early morning, but late night. Uh, just want to talk to you on how I feel that the Detroit Lions can go ahead and win 10 games. All right, and that's what I'm going to do. Uh, Thank you guys for coming in and watching. All right. Uh, I do got a comment. All right. Uh, Grinder 12. What brings the maniac out in you? All right. That's a good question. And that's my phrase. Okay. What brings a maniac out in me? Whenever the Lions go ahead and score a touchdown in a dramatic way, whenever the Detroit Lions can go ahead and snatch victory out of the eyes of defeat. Or also, whenever the Detroit Lions can go ahead and sack the quarterback of the opposite team, shut down their game, and whoever it may be. That is what brings out the maniac in me. And seeing guys like former Barry Sanders running, balling out, former Detroit Lion, one of the most well known um, well, the most well-known running back in my time. All right, DeAndre Swift. Man, let's go ahead and let's ball out. But that answers that question, and I really, really want to thank you for that. Uh, Facebook user says hi. Thank you. How's it going? I can't see your name, sadly, but thank you very much. Grinder 12 again. How are you tonight, Tim? I'm doing well, and as you can see, I'm awake. I am a night owl, a night owl, and a night hawk. Actually, I used to have a CB channel. My handle used to be called Nighthawk. So I am a product of the night, but I don't have the fangs, because if I did, I would kind of use those spells on the referee so that they would quit calling those bad calls against the Detroit Lions. All right. Wow. Ranger 12 also said 4 points underdogs versus the Eagles. However, the vibe I get from the Eagles, they are sleeping on the Lions. Exactly. I do think that the Lions underestimated the Eagles last year. I do know, however, that this was one of the games that a lot of um, the content creators thought that the Lions could win last year, and they thought that it would be one of the winnable games, but unfortunately, they caught us sleeping. I think we can catch them sleeping. All right. And one of the things one of the reasons I think it's going to be different this year is because the coaching staff that we got, it's their second year coaching, coaches under their belt. We also have a more aggressive um, play caller, and you have them that is embedding into their players that you got to have the attitude to win. I don't want to discount a game before the game is even played, before the season is even started. We need to ball out. We need to go ahead, and as I like to say, my new saying is release and unleash the beast within the Lions. The Lions are known as being the king of the jungle. They are known as being that, and we gotta grasp that in our hands and go ahead and be that player, be that team. Each player needs to own it. You cannot go ahead and just say, "Oh, we're the Lions." Why are we trying to change the culture? And we're thinking, "Oh, we're the Lions." Something's going to come up and go ahead and snatch victory and put us in defeat. We got to claim that game and we got to go ahead and win that game. Yes, I am being Maniac E today. This is why I'm Maniac Tim. Okay, let's see. Man, oh wow, the OCB channel. That was some cool days. Oh yes, it was. I never really, the first CB that I bought, it ended up I bought it secondhand, and it really never worked. Um, but I mean, heck, those were the days back before cell phones and stuff like that. So, um, but okay, let's see. We also have another. Okay, of course, Grinder 12. Grinder 12. I'm sorry. Um, I was telling some Eagle fans, don't think the game versus the Lions will be a cakewalk. One, the Lions are healed. Yep. Two, the Lions are a better team than last year. Exactly. Just don't sleep on the Lions. True. Right. But the other thing to that is the Lions cannot sleep on them. I mean, us being Lions fans, and if you've been Lions fan for a long time, we have seen where you know where there was a point in time where the Detroit Lions would go ahead and would win a game against a team like the Eagles, and then the very next week would lose against a team like Jacksonville was last year. So we have seen that. So you cannot be sleepers. You know, you got to be ready and you got to ball out. You got to, oh man, oh man. Um, okay, yes, unleash the maniac. Exactly. Unleash the maniac. My God. Okay, yeah, right. Unleash the maniac. Also, this game is going to be won in the trenches. Yeah, this game, you know, we are going to be facing a team that may have, in some people's eyes, superior talent in some key aspects of the game. But we also have camaraderie between some of the players because they've been together longer. All right, we upgraded. We are healthy. We are looking more and more to this as far as being a team with a winning attitude. If, and I'm not saying attitude will do everything for you because it won't. But as you're building, you got to have the attitude that you can do it, that you can win, that you can take over, that you can make them. I mean, last year we seen it where shoot the Lions went ahead and lost so many close games. Unfortunately, one of the wipes out was against the Eagles last year. All right. But heck, a lot of those were lost by 2 or 3 points, a touchdown or whatever. And that was when Jared Goff was playing bad. This Jared Goff's offense has been designed by him and Ben Johnson to win. So if the Lions can stay healthy and perform on that field, who knows? Who knows what they can do? And we cannot always be looking for that bad spot. Um, hey Tristan. Tristan says, "Hey Tim, sorry that I was me. I thought StreamYard had my permission." Oh, okay. Thank you. How you doing, Tristan? Uh, Render 12. Like the Eagles content creators I was dealing with. He said it's the Lions. Eagles have zero plays for the Kitty. I said that the Lions win versus the Eagle. Watch the Lions, Eagles, and I will want someone fired. Oh, Oh, watch the lines win. There you go. Then I want someone fired. Okay, okay, okay. That's good. That's good. All right. Let's see. Hitching like the bottom button of the show supporters. Yeah, right. Yeah, really like my content. I really appreciate it. Unleash the maniac on the like fine. Hey, yeah, yeah. That's true. And hey, everybody also uh check out my Facebook group, which is of course Maniac Sports. Join that group. I really appreciate it. And yeah, and smash that like button. All right. Okay, Christians, we do need to do everything different than what we did last year because if we do that, we will, and I take it win. True, true. That 100% true. If we do things different, and I think that that's what it's all about. I mean, I heard the coaches talking about, hey, this, you you gotta embrace how when you were in college, you know, losing one or two games, not losing 9 or 10 games. All right, you know, this is what you got to do. You got to go into each game expecting to win and determined to win it. You know, one of my biggest things, and this has always been one thing about me, is that I don't like to go ahead and pick wins and losses for the seasons because to me it's like giving up before the season even starts. So in some ways, it's like why even play the game? You know, hey, who ever thought way back when the Lions had to run and shoot that they would have went 12-4 that year? Nobody thought that. Nobody thought that at all. They thought, hey, you know, um, this was a surprise. And at that point, way back in, I think it was 91, that our only playoff game, people thought, hey, our number one quarterback, our number two quarterback was out in that game. And Dallas has said, there ain't no way a scab quarterback by the name of Eric Kramer was going to beat them. You know what? They're right. A scab quarterback did not beat them. A scab quarterback went ahead and kicked their ass. The Lions in that game released the beast and walked all over their ass. Excuse my language, but it is who I am sometimes. All right. Okay. Yeah. Let me see what need to do it. Yeah, to be a great team. That yeah. Okay. Those two went together. Yeah, Tristan, you are definitely right. Definitely right. And I think, well, there is one thing in some ways that we're maybe not only doing everything different. All right. And now that's everything different than what we have done in the past. Definitely. All right. You know, but to go ahead and do everything better than what we did in the past. These players have shown that they can play with heart. All right. Talent wise, we may not match up equal to equal against some of the teams. Now, one of the things that uh, you need to do in order to actually win a game, you need to exploit their weaknesses with your strength. You need to counter them. And I do feel if we can go ahead and have a um, a passing and running game and force the Eagles to pass, and go ahead and block, go ahead and shut down the run and shut down, the quarterback, take that away from them. I I think that the sky's the limit in what we can do, and in how we can go ahead and be. Now, will we kill them? God, I hope so, because we all them a beat. All right, and yeah, Tristan also says, "I'm good. How are you?" I am doing good. As you can see, I'm wide awake. Yep, the Maniac's wide awake at this time. All right, but shoot, how are we going? All right, we got a healthy Jeff Okuda. They're going to need the ball out. Derek Barnes is going to need the ball out. Aiden Hutchinson is going to need the ball out. These players are going to each need to look personally inside themselves on the defense. And the defense needs to play the way they played against Pittsburgh, the starting defense, when they were in. The offense needs to play against they did when Jared Goff and company was in that game. Our running game can be great. We are going up against another great offensive line. So our defensive line is really going to need to ball out and stuff like that. And you just cannot go ahead and accept defeat. Yeah, our coaching staff, they're going to need to really call some plays. They're going to need to have these people upbeat. And we got to learn how to protect the dome. Protect Ford Field. Because we have, I guess they call it defend the den. All right. We got to annihilate teams that come and try to beat us in our home. This is our home. Ford Field is our home. Of course, I think we ought to go Maniac Tim the Vampire. I love that one. I love that one. Wow. All right. I love that one. All right. Yeah, Voltron, Defender of the Universe. I remember that show, even though my my older brother used to be a real big cartoon fan, and he would watch that like crazy. Uh, but shoot, man, I just think there's something special about this team, and yeah, 10 wins. I think if we can go ahead and get 10 wins, and we got to do this of course, one game at a time, look at each opponent, find their weaknesses, and exploit their weaknesses and use our strengths to go ahead and cover our weaknesses. Tim, any latest Lions news that you got your interest today? I have had a busy day, so I have not been home that much. So, of course, Taylor Decker restructuring his contract to make room. Hey, that just shows how much of a team player he is. You can go ahead and make room to bring in players. I sure hope. Now, one of the things with this 10 wins that I'm predicting, all right, or better, is that we got to stay healthy. We got to stay healthy, all right, because especially Jared Goff needs to stay healthy. And I also feel we need a better backup quarterback too. That will go ahead and, hey, if Jared Goff's having a bad game, if we can go ahead and get a better quarterback, maybe sit him down for a play or two, maybe he'll go ahead and pipe up and ball out. And as Kurt Steele says, be the best version of himself. And that's what every Lions player has to do, is be the best version of themselves. Okay, Tristan, I will be happy with 10 wins, definitely, with the thought, with the team. Yeah, exactly. I, God, I'll be happy with 10 wins this season, 11 wins the next season. I would love that. See, that's one thing that we have really not had in a long time is back. Well, actually, if you look at it when Jim Caldwell was, we did have back to back good years, not really making the playoffs because those 9 and 7 teams we did have, but we would go ahead. The Lions would go ahead, and I think with this culture change that we have seen going on, this is something that's going to change. All right, we would see the Lions will go ahead and get so far, you know, and then take a nosedive. All right, they can't do that. All right, anybody who was around in '91, and there was some bad breaks in '91. All right, for sure. Or after '91, because we lost, of course, Mike Ugly, and of course Eric Anderson. We had some bad luck. So our you know back then the Lions were looking as being a young team, and right now they are the youngest team in the NFL. All right, or second youngest, something like that. All right, and they were being compared, and I think I have said this before. They were being compared to the Dallas Cowboys at that year. Well, we had Mike Ali get paralyzed. We had Eric Anderson go ahead and he was mowing his lawn, and semi truck ran over him and killed him. I mean that's and no, I was not laughing at it because that was definitely was not good, but we took bumps and bruises. And another thing I think that really hurt us is a system that we had at that time, that got us to 12-4. The very next, and yeah, okay, let me get this straight. We did get to the NFC championship game. All right. The playoffs were much different back then. Then we did get killed by Washington. I do think, and I believe this to this day, that they gave up on the run and shoot too soon. Because after they took that away, you know, they they just wasn't the same team. It brought excitement because they could score. But a lot of people said back then they scored too fast. Well, it was also what the NFL was wanting too. Scores excite people, scores bring revenue and stuff like that too. So, you know, um, that's I just feel they should at least went one more year with a run and shoot because we were told that they were. And if anybody does not remember what the run and shoot was about, actually, I'm getting off topic because I should be talking about the Detroit Lions here, current. All right, all right. Let's see. I can't wait until we get to the Super Bowl. Hell yeah, God, for sure. I can't wait. And you know what? I want Matthew Stafford to buy a ticket when we're at that Super Bowl. This is not a knock on Matthew Stafford. He did great for us, okay? But I want Matthew Stafford to be an honored guest when he's there. But I want Jared Goff to go ahead and take us to that Super Bowl. All right, but Tristan, that's really great. And I'm sure we can do it. I'm sure we can do it. We love to hear about the run and shoot. Oh, okay. All right. The run and shoot was Mouse Davis was an offensive coordinator. All right, back then. You had four. It was basically they compared it to fourth and long. all the time. Uh, Back then, our quarterback was Rodney Pete. We actually got, and if I believe right, we got Rodney Pete the same year that we got Barry Sanders. So he was like the Heisman Trophy runner up, where Barry Sanders was, of course, a Heisman Trophy winner. All right. Unfortunately, one of the things that happened back then was that Rodney Pete went ahead, and these very same Philadelphia Eagles, in an exhibition game, he ended up getting a knee injury, and so he was taken out, for a few games. They also drafted a quarterback in college that went ahead and was thought to be a master of the run and shoot, because that's how they played it. His name was Andre Ware. Um, as really known these days, back then there was not free agency and stuff like that. I think it was just, yeah, there was getting close to being free agency, but there was not free agency. There might have been Plan B free agency, but I don't think all the lawsuits came through and stuff back then. But Andre Ware held out, so they set him the whole year. All right, so Rodney Pete was our quarterback. No matter how much the fans at that time wanted to see Rodney Pete or not Andre Ware play, Coach Wayne Fonts, that coach, he wouldn't let him. He was stubborn. He set him on the bench because he needed to learn the way of the Detroit Lions. Well, there was some times when I think they had him maybe 3 years, um, but the third year they ended up kind of perfecting it. And actually, there was other teams that were starting to use it because they were seeing what we were doing. So the Atlanta Falcons ended up doing something called a red gun, which was a version of the run and shoot. Okay. No, I don't. I do not have season tickets. I actually live in Muskegon, Michigan, so I'm the other side of the state. And God, I would love to. Uh, but no, I don't have season tickets. Someday, someday I would really like to do this, but I do actually have another job that I do on second shift, so that's why there's, you know, my dream is to go ahead and someday do this full time. And actually, what I want to do is, why I'm named my show Maniac Sports, is I want to go to sports venues and actually do this live before games and stuff like that. Kind of like what Micro Mike is doing, stuff like that. Um, okay. Yeah, loved Andre Ware. I do wish he had panned out. Yeah, exactly. For the Lions, he was supposed to be that Ronnie Pete 2.0. Exactly, exactly. I loved Eric Kramer too. Highly underrated. Exactly. And people just thought that because he was, you know, um, that he was considered a scab quarterback because there was that strike year, and that's, so they brought, he was that one year where they held out, the players held up to go ahead and try to get the free agency. And then I think that was a couple years, and I really think that was the year that the Bears won the Super Bowl. Was not that 91 year, but that was the year that um, Eric Kramer became known as a scab because he crossed the picket line for the against the Union, and he was one of the considered scab. But right after that season, Chicago Bears went ahead and snatched them up, and he never worked out, unfortunately, Well, fortunately for us, really worked out for the Chicago Bears, because and back then Green Bay was nothing. All right. I'm going to release a bliplar. Okay. All right. If I pronounce that wrong, I am really sorry about that. But one of the things too is I just think as long as they stay focused and ball out and play their game, because that's what they got to do. The Lions got to play their games. I think they can really win the game and win a lot of games, because hey, Dan Campbell, he's one hell of a coach. Brad Holmes, although I don't think they really know that much about choosing backup quarterbacks, but that's another story. Uh, I really did like Wayne Fonts too. Uh, he was well. See, there was a weird story about him too, because and I really don't want to badmouth before. He was of course intern coach, all right, and was promoted. He was a defensive coordinator, but there was one time where they said that he got drunk. All right, and this was before he became head coach, and I can't remember all the details and stuff like that. But so he was kind of known as kind of thought of as being drunk before, but once he took the Lions, he was the one that was, once he took being head coach of Lions, he was the one that drafted Barry Sanders, Troy Aikman, because they had the second draft pick of the year that year. And Dallas Cowboys chose Troy Aikman, and he personally went ahead and wrote a note to Barry Sanders to go ahead and persuade him to come, to want to play for Lions too, even though back then once you were drafted for whatever team, you had to play for that team, unless you held out for a year. All right, let me just see. Oh, yeah, I love William Fonte. He was a nice, good, and always tried to get the most out of his players, but not at a good location. True, and you know, ownership back then of the Lions was really thought they just wanted that one good player that we thought that could go, that a lot of people thought that could put the butts in seats. Um, I remember we had a big old guy named Jerry Ball. He was kind of like a version of Fridge Perry back then, a defensive player. This was actually back when Chris Spielman was playing too. But Jerry Ball, he went ahead and he offered to take a pay cut. I think Plan B free agency was just starting back then. He offered to take a pay cut so that they could bring somebody in to help him because, he wanted he wanted somebody alongside him that could actually help him do the job too, because Jerry Ball would ball out, but he didn't have anybody beside him. Back then, Pat Swelling was the name that was being talked to. Well, they did go ahead and they brought in Pat Swelling, but they cut Jerry Ball, which really didn't make a whole lot of sense. All right. Okay. Uh, Hopefully, Tim, you can be on Michael Mike's show more often. Yes. I would like to have Michael Mike on my show too. I know him. He follows a format, so he does not do many. Yes, true. He does. He does go ahead and he's real busy now. Because that's what he does all the time. But actually, one of the Michael Mike is one of the reasons that that Detroit Lions on a prowl became what it is today. because he was actually in um, the DSA, uh, Detroit Sports Alliance, and before, and he actually helped get the Detroit Lions into, or the Lions on the Prowl into the DSA. Jim was doing a lot of work with that, but there were some inner troubles and stuff like that, which I don't really want to say because I heard some things secondhand. So back then, but so he ended up leaving the DSA and stuff like that. So but there was never any animosity between Jim and Mike. They always stayed great friends. They all, Michael Mike went ahead and brought us into the DSA, and that was really great. A lot of their shows, because I worked second shift, I was not able to be on those shows. Um, okay, Grinder 12. Yes, Jerry Ball. He was really good. Nose tackle, yep. Where is Jerry Ball when the Lions needed him? Yeah, really. That's true. And but he really, and I remember he had a chop block and he got hurt. All right. And then he really spoke up against that. Then he got in trouble because he ended up blocking somebody else on another team. So, all right. Let me see. When Tim's Maniac Sports gets 100 subscribers, he will sign Detroit Lions. uh, Grander Hero. Yeah, yep, yeah. Hey, yeah. Let's get my subscribers up there. I really, yeah, and also definitely like my videos. Tell your friends about it. I'm I actually have Tim's Maniac Sports, and I actually have another YouTube channel, which right now I'm kind of leaving alone because it's Maniac Sports. I just went ahead and started this one because it was hard to find the other one. So I was hoping, that's why I went ahead and, excuse me, that's why I went ahead and started this one. I figured that it would be easier for people to find. And I went ahead and tagged it my name. Now, in some of the venues too, I won't always just have Lions fans on here. One of the things, as far as for Maniac Sports, that's going to be different than Detroit Lions on the Prowl is I'm open to basically all. That's not going to change me from being a Lions fan. I am 100% Lions fan. I will always root for them, but I want to have other guests on my show too, besides Lions fans, and actually other than just NFL too. But I do know that that's rough and tough, and so I'm starting to find out a lot of the things that Jim went through. I do gotta put this one up. Yes, I want to hear personal troubles. I miss Jim. He's always made me feel welcome. He understood my humor. Yeah, oh God, Jim. Love the lines. He definitely had a peculiar sense of humor for sure. There was he was also good at making up different songs, and he made a rap song. And no, I'm not going to um, try to rap or sing it, but he would go ahead and he called it the Detroit Lions bumbling crew because he loved the Lions, but he would go ahead and make fun of them too when they did bad. And one of the verses that I do remember, and I will say it, is that, you know, Leonard Thompson was our tight end at that time, and he goes, he was rapping, yeah, I'm Leonard Thompson. I tumble, I dive, I try, but I cannot come up with the ball. And this was, I wish I would have had a recording of that, because that would have been great to play. Because his sense of humor, that man was smart, but his sense of humor, he was really, really great in a lot of ways. He could go ahead and change from one thing to another, and he was really knowledgeable. Uh, one of the things, one one of the things that really also helped grow Detroit Lions on the prowl is that, uh, and hey, this is my show. I'm going to talk about Detroit Lions on the prowl, and a lot of you people are definitely fans of the show. But he didn't want to go to video for the longest time. He did not want to go. And it, because of the computer system and stuff like that, we had Speaker, we had Lipston and stuff like that. And this show will start out to be just two guys talking about, you know, Lions football and stuff like that. So that was what it was about back then. But he didn't want to appear on video back then, you know. But due to different financial, and we were full partners. Me and him, we started out. Um, I, like, he paid for Limpson, I paid for Speaker and stuff like that. Those were the two things that we kind of shared. Now, I'm not going to say that it was an even partnership, because he did put in a lot more work than I did. All right, and so that's, he did. So but we started out being partners, and at first he didn't think, you know he wanted to go ahead and grow this, and he wanted somebody to go ahead and you know be like Pride, because Pride of Detroit got sponsored by somebody, and that was his intention, to go ahead and be, have somebody sponsor and sponsor and actually go ahead and back us. And this was way before meeting Herman Moore and stuff like that. I I came into some issues where there were things that I was doing, not that were real bad. It was just at and then there was some other things with his life, so things got stopped for a while, and then we restarted again. Uh, but yeah, I always okay. Uh, yeah, we do all miss him, Tertian. All right, I always used to tune into Roar at 4 with Jim, and he too, and the two guys he would have. I have not seen those two guys in a very long time. Yeah, that's true. And they have been talking about restarting Roar at 4. Um, Unfortunately, I don't get filled in like I used to when Jim was alive, in which I wish that I would, because Jim would go. Jim would go ahead and tell me everything. He was my friend, but he was my partner too. So he would tell me one of the things that we would just do was we would go and discuss things over. He loved to go out to eat, and that was one of the things that we would do, kind of have like business meetings and stuff like that at different food places. So that's, and that I don't have now. I would really like to get more with Kurt and Val and stuff like that and find out more. That's one of the reasons I'm doing my own channel too, because, you know, in some ways, and I don't blame things in some ways other than, um, but this, the Maniac Sports was my idea even when Jim was alive. Okay. Um, but uh, I decided I needed to do something for me to where I can concentrate on, um, and I am fully backing Detroit Lions on Pro. Uh, Kurt Steele is a great host. The uh, Mike Jones, Ella Torrance, they're great guys. All right, Bell's really good too. All right, so but I need to do something for me too. So this is what I decided to do. And I had this on the back burner. And when I was really going to start promoting it, that was when COVID hit. That was when a lot of the things ended up being bad. And so it was put on hold. And working second shift, and a lot of times I work Saturdays too, it's hard to because I was going to cover minor sports too and stuff like that in our area, like in the hockey that we have in Muskegon. We also have in Muskegon we have they're called the West Michigan Ironman. I was going to go cover them and stuff, but being on second shift and working 6 days a week, it is hard to do that. Okay. Hey, hi, Facebook user. Thank you. Okay. And yeah, I missed Aurora at 4. I hope it starts. Yeah. And I mean, I really wish that I could give you more information, but in a lot of ways, I'm not privileged to that information. If I could and I had permission from Val, I would. But I do know that it's in the works, and they're planning on, at least they were planning on restarting it. All right. I really don't know. But one of the things, okay. And uh, you got to, Val and Kurt work together, and I'm not trying, they're trying to keep me out of it. I'm not. It's just that the main connection that I had was with Jim. All right. Um, Kurt is a very busy man. All right. I mean, has school. He has a lot of deals, and plus my work schedule. And I'm not always good at reaching out too. Now I did tell them anything they want me to do for them, I will. If there's any way that I can help out more, I will. So I'm not in any way, and please don't get me wrong, bad mouthing them. Val lost her husband. All right. You know, I know some, they may have not have always had the best relationship, but they were a team. So, I, and I'm not bad mouth because please believe me, I'm not. But I really wish they would. I mean, I would really like to set up at least once a month meeting with them so that I could hear and actually keep track and have some of these insights. So, but why don't they fill you in? And yeah, if I had the time, you'd be good. Okay, I work. That's the one thing. And Jim had talked about putting me on the Roar at 4, but unfortunately, I start work at 2. So I would be always at work at 4. you know, so being on second shift, it just is what it is. Uh, yeah. Uh, I don't know. Uh, yeah. Now we also gotta remember Kurt Steele is also, yeah, and well, I already answered that question. Uh, I would definitely do that. If they wanted me to, I would, but it could not be at 4. It would need to be. It would, being on second shift. I get out. I work in Zealand, so I would need to. I would need to. I mean, there's no way I could do the roar at 4 unless I change shift. Uh, okay. Yeah, and Kurt would, for sure, Tristan. Uh, I hear you, man. I worked graveyard shift, so I either go in I go to bed in the morning show and wake up to the Roar F4. Yep. Wow, that's yeah. One of the things, the Roar at 1 a.m. Yeah, if they wanted to do that, that would be great. Uh, I would definitely do that. Uh, now, Jim was going, and this was in the works, where Jim was going to give me their Twitch channel, their Twitch feed, and I would be having my own show on there. I do got my own Twitch channel that I do. I simulcast everything here. Um, but yeah, but I know somebody, I think it was Jeremy B would say that he would be on maybe the Roar at 5, but I remember about saying, because this is the way Jim had it, she wanted it to be the Roar at 4. So, that's why. I like this one. I like that one. The Roar at 4 a.m. LOL. That is great. That is great. I I definitely like that. Hey, it's still at 4 Eastern Standard Time. 4 a.m. Wow. Yeah, and sometimes I'm up there too. Still up at 4. That's but I need to leave here from work at 1. Uh okay. Getting back to lines though. Yeah, this is definitely a discussion session. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it still is at 4. 4 a.m. All right. Um this is all right. Get over here real quick. Introducing, and anybody who is on my uh, page, or actually my Facebook group, I have put this out: the Maniac Player of the Week. All right, what is the Maniac Player of the Week? All right, this is what I see and what I want to create. The Maniac Player of the Week will involve all 32 teams. Each fan of that team may post a player that has bought out and that they feel was a Maniac player for that week for whatever team. I don't want to just hold it to Lions because I have other people to other fans. One of my friends at work, Kevin, he is a 100% Tom Brady fan. He followed him over from the Patriots to, of course, the Buccaneers. All right. So if I just want people to be able to pick that. Another thing that I'm thinking about doing is eventually having a Maniac Hall of Fame with players and also content creators. I had talked to Jeremy B about this before, and having people nominate, because I don't want to be the only one, the only one doing this that's picking. I want to be fair about it. So as far as for content creators, I would like to, people to nominate certain content creators. I mean, one of the things where Jeremy B said that he would definitely nominate Jim, uh, because of how it is, and definitely I would definitely back that one. Yeah, from seeing how he, yeah, we all know, and words can't say. But I mean, you also got to look at Michael Mike, Dosa Dion. Shoot, there's so many Lions content creators. There's also players that I would like to see from other teams in this Hall of Fame, from the Lions, from the Hall, and just go ahead and have people nominate, then they would be voted. Another thing I want to do is make something called the Maniac Squad. The Maniac Squad is going to be a show which kind of like, where I want to have other people that want to be on the show, that want to go ahead and discuss different their different teams, or maybe even just, we might have a Maniac Squad just for the Lions. We might have one that includes other teams. I'm not sure, but I would like to get other guests and stuff like that too, because I do have the StreamYard, obviously, and I can have up to 10 guests on my platform, just like they do on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Uh, okay. All right. The free for all Friday is good. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I that was one of the things that Jim, when I did come back, he said, yeah, I could definitely be on that show, and because for a while there was just a little bit of time when I wasn't with Detroit Lions on Pro for a little bit of time, but oh yeah, back to Lions. Yeah, we keep getting off, but actually, it's that was one of the things. Now, uh, electing, and I really want a lot of Lion fans to go ahead and definitely you know uh, first week. This is going to start the first week of the season, so of course it's starting this week. Um, Anybody from any team can go ahead and nominate their player that they think that bought out, whether you know be on whatever team, and they can only nominate the person one time, but um, they other people can vote on it once that person is nominated, or or other people can nominate that same person, whatever. Oh yeah, Jeremy B, I used to watch him when we were all Lions Nation podcast. Yep, we never got why Jeremy B left that group. um yeah, there's it was time issues were part of it, and That's all I can say. Uh, but Jeremy B is, he's doing good on his own end. I mean, he's appearing a lot. I he, he's actually in movie now. He he's moving into another apartment. He ended up inheriting a house, which is great. Uh, but I that guy knows his shit. And I know that at the time Jim really wanted to bring him in to be a regular on the Detroit Lions on the Prowl podcast or the YouTube channel just all the time. But at the time when there just wasn't the room because you already had the three guests, the three when you had Jim, Coach Mike, and of course Kurt Steele. All right, so it was just things were being spread too thin. So but he went ahead. I mean, that guy knows his shit. That guy knows his shit. I mean, and that's definite. Okay, going on to the next comment. All right, for free for all Fridays might be better if they took a brief phone call, drop the comments and questions, and let the panel answer the next caller. I will talk to them about it. Well, I will try to talk to them about it because that's actually a good idea. Why why don't you? Well, I'll try to text Val and see if that is possible because I don't know if with StreamYard if that would work. But shoot, I mean it would be great to go ahead and set up the next caller. You know, right. So yeah, I definitely had a lot of interaction today, and wow, we've been on here over an hour. Hey, but we've been having fun too. I mean, this has been definitely impromptu, and man, thank you guys for the questions. I really appreciate it. Um, by the way, in the comments, what are you guys' predictions for the game? Now, I'm predicting 35-7 Detroit Lions. One of the reasons I'm predicting this is that Luke G, and everybody knows who Luke G is, he says, whenever I predict an outrageous score like that the first time, the Lions win. So I'm predicting 35-7. What do you guys think the score will be, Lions versus Eagles? Thank you, Grandeur 12. Okay. Vegas says by 4 over under is 49. One prediction. All right. Okay. All right. I predict 24-19 Eagles. Okay. Hey, and that's fair. Now, of course, I'm predicting the Lions going to win. Okay. No disrespect to you, Tim. The Lions, no disrespect for Tim or the Lions. I follow the dollars. That's true. But, hey, one of the things that we have seen in the past, and I'm hoping to see again, is the Detroit Lions can rise up and beat teams that they should lose to. But no disrespect for following the dollars. That is definitely a fair prediction. All right, if you had a gambling problem, seek help. Seek help. Yeah. That's definitely one thing I don't do. Is I'm not into gambling. So that's yeah. All right, welcome to Detroit, Dan Camel. Tristan, are you still on? What is your prediction? And I would definitely need help. Actually, there's one guy at work that he ended up becoming a Green Bay fan because, because he lost so much money when Charlie Batch was our quarterback. He, you know, so that was why he ended up saying, "Yeah, if he's going to bet money, he can't be a Lions fan." So now I'm just hoping the Lions can go ahead and knock Green Bay out of the NFC North lead. I do hope the Lions win versus the Eagles. The Eagles fan base would lose a lot. LOL. They might break a few windows for sure. For sure. Oh God. Oh man, the Eagle fan base. Oh my God. They. Yeah, I remember when the Philadelphia Phillies won the World Series way back, and they just tore apart that town. Those fans are those fans are weird. Um, but I'm gonna call it a night. Uh, Thank you, everybody. It's been real nice. It was real great to have people watch. Anybody who I did not see their comments, I do apologize because I can't always see everything on Facebook. Um, Special thanks. Okay. All right. The Eagles fan base have high expectations. You know what? I got high expectations too. And you know what? I'm not the only one. Listen to that coaching staff of the Detroit Lions. Have a great week. You too. All right. Thank you. And my final thoughts on the show. Hey, NFL is finally back. Yes, it is Monday right now. So this week, let's go ahead and have some fun. Watch the NFL. Go Lions. One try. I used to always say this. Go Detroit Lions on the prowl. Go Maniac Sports. And have a great day. Thank you. Yep, and I will have a great day, Tim, and I will see you sometime this week. Yes, you will. Definitely. Always remember what brings out the maniac in you. Yes. Except they don't like it when I bring out the maniac in me at work. That's true. What brings out. And you know what? I'm really hoping to bring up, to be able to ball out and bring that maniac out and the Lions to unleash the beast and kick some Eagles' butt. All right. Take care, all.